see that last night.
Bird flu has been detected in this park. Okay, so we're heading to Glasgow for the British Lions for Freedom community event. We're going to be live streaming and making a short video. Predicted like 2 millimeters of rain for a couple of hours. Let's turn the camera around and show another version of Toy Town. Toy Town houses everywhere. Listen to this message that comes over the tannoy bus stops.
Passengers are reminded, unless exempt, the wearing of face coverings is a condition of travel on all public transport.
I'm going to introduce our first speaker. She's here to speak about 15-minute neighbourhoods, cashless society, so on and so forth. Can you give a massive warm welcome, a Glasgow welcome that I'm familiar with and I love, to Debbie Hicks, please.
Thank you so much, Glasgow! How dare they charge you £30 a day to come into your city? It is an outrage that they are taxing. They are charging you to come into your city. It is happening all around the world. Carlos Moreno, he is an ex-Colombian guerrilla political activist, a terrorist. He was a terrorist. And he came up with the idea of a 15-minute neighbourhood or a 15-minute city. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? But come on, let's wake up, everybody. To wake up to this lie of the 15-minute city. It's not a golden age. It's not a local economy. It is a digital prison they're bringing in. You are being locked down in a prison. The first thing is I want you to get into the habit of taking out cash every time you go out of your house to spend. Stop using your debit cards. Stop using your credit cards. Boycott the businesses and the shops that don't take your cash. No! Stop using self-service tills. Demand somebody come and serve you. You don't work for the supermarkets, are you on their payroll? They serve you. You go up to them and you keep them in a job. One more thing I'd like you to do, the people of Glasgow and of Scotland that are listening to me, you need to get back your warrior spirit here in Scotland. Get it back!
One, they are lying. It is a fraud. They are pretending to look after us and have our best interests at heart, when actually they probably want the majority of us dead. And two, ultimately, we have the numbers. We talk about it as the 99% versus the 1%. It's not. It's, it's 99.999% versus 0.001%. It's a tiny, tiny number of people we're fighting. And we've just got to mobilise those. Mobilise that 12, 15% that stood and held the line against us. Mobilise those that are campaigning keenly against LEZ. keep the cash campaign. All of it has to come together, but we've got to be active, we've got to be strategic, and we will not win by standing outside the system. That's not how we do this, in my view, and that's with the greatest respect to those who do believe that that's the way forward, some of whom are here today. So, I hope I haven't, that's all I've got to say, by the way. I hope that was brief and where we're at. Keep fighting. I hope I haven't got to use the next person, because I don't know who the next person is, but so I'm going to grab Damon, I think, and get him to introduce the next person. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Jonathan. So I'd like to introduce again the child advocate and the founding member of British Cubs for Freedom, which is uniting the next generation of Lions, Jasmine.
Hi everyone, and hello Glasgow! It's lovely to be here. I've travelled a long way to be with you all today. I am Jasmine, the child advocate. I've been speaking out publicly since 2021, since a close friend of mine was murdered by the government-mandated bioweapon. The poison. My opinions are not always shared by everyone. If you are sensitive to opposing views regarding the transgender issue, then please cover your ears or walk away and do some shopping. Today, in our schools, teachers are forcing distorted facts onto young children's minds by suggesting to them that they may have been born in the wrong body. Children as young as 4 years old are highly susceptible to suggestions, and hypnosis is all about suggestions. All you have to do is make sure there are lots of pride flags and drag queens and transvestites around the school. Get the children relaxed, and you have very fertile ground on which you are able to start putting these suggestions into their minds. It is utterly disgusting and abhorrent. Any teachers forcing their own distorted sexual opinions on the children are guilty of emotionally traumatizing them. Today, in some schools in the UK, transvestites, that's men dressed as ladies and with their genitals hanging out of thongs, on full display are appearing as dancers, parading themselves in front of very young children. Jimmy Savile would have loved to be taking part in this. Teachers are guilty of traumatizing children in their schools and need to be held accountable for these crimes against the children. How many genders are there? Have you ever heard a more ridiculous question? They are grooming us children in school with age-inappropriate sexualization. I have friends at school who think they are lesbian or gay. They are just 12 years old. They don't understand what life is about. And before they get an opportunity to discover things for themselves, we have evil governments getting inside their brains with this disgusting nonsense. Until this abuse started, the same friends of mine never questioned their sexuality, and if left alone, would have grown up to be normal young women and normal young men. And yes, I'm using the word normal intentionally. And if anyone has a problem with that, then go and see a doctor and get your head checked out.
So we don't feel or heal, but it's false evidence appearing real. I say, to make your power really get to know, so we can finally overcome and rid the shit show. The weapons fit so we don't feel or heal, but it's just false evidence appearing real. I say, to make your power really get to know, so we can finally overcome and rid the shit show. Technocratic corporatocracy. Technocratic corporatocracy with a central bank digital currency, carbon footprint surveillance system, universal basic income for compliant citizens, a ban on all natural remedies, microchips and brain interface technologies, abolishment of private property, all state control with total dependency, control of fertility and reproduction, robot workforce with AI integration, a digital web trapping every single nation, invisible prison, a whole world of plantation, humanity trapped in vanity, it's insanity, no clarity, stuck in augmented reality, it's like a family tragedy, no sense of normality. I'm searching for fields of gold like Eva Cassidy. The weapons fit so we don't feel or heal, but it's false evidence appearing real. I say, to make your power really get to know, so we can finally overcome and rid the shit show. The weapons fit so we don't feel no heal, but it's false evidence appearing real. I say, to back your pal, really get to know, so we can finally overcome and rid this shit show. We know what it's about. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We know what it's all about.
Hello everybody, David Clues from UNN. How are we all today? See if we get the microphone out. Are you having a good day? Well done to all of you who've been here from the start. That's an impressive turnout. I think it's fair to say there are quite a lot of issues right now, and they've all been covered quite eloquently by the speakers. And I was speaking to my good friend Robert, and he made a good point. Well, what is it that people are actually doing today? Why are we here? And the point he made, and it is right, they're keeping the flame alive. We're not in the situation we were in 2020 or 2021. It's not as in your face. It isn't. There isn't the impending threat of passports. You weren't being discriminated against, but there is still a nefarious agenda. And I think the big one that we've certainly seen, and I'll just focus on this for a wee while, is climate change. Okay, and I'm just going to tell you right now, man-made climate change is a scam. Okay, it is 100% a hoax. It isn't real. Okay, we don't need to go crazy about it. We don't need to go mental. It's not real, right? The media this week have bombarded people with lies about temperatures. Do you know what they've done? They don't take the temperature now in the air. They take the temperature from the ground. Do you know where they were taking the temperature from? Runways at airports. It's a scam. They were showing you wildfires saying Rhodes was on fire. It was one tiny wee part of Rhodes that was on fire. Temperatures getting into the 40s in Sicily, in Spain, is actually very common. It's a complete lie and a scam. And what they do, like, people should be concerned about the environment. People should be against plastic in the oceans. We should be wanting to breathe cleaner air. These are all good things. But then what they do is they wrap the rest of it up in a complete lie and say that man-made CO2 emissions are responsible for heating the atmosphere. That's not true. It's a lie and a scam, and they roll out these experts. Well, we've got 100 experts that say different. Well, I'll tell you what, if I was getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a year, well, I wouldn't. But most of these people would. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear. You know, they talk about this science is settled. They said the same thing 500 years ago. The science isn't settled. Okay, things are open to interpretation and change. And I think today, with everybody that's here, it is so important we just keep going, we keep these movements growing, and everybody is kind of going their own way, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It is what it is, but we know there is a sick plan for humanity. And it's so important we all do our thing to cancel that. And I'm just going to ask you all a question. Does anybody here still pay for a TV licence? Some of you said yes. Who said yes? Who said yes? I'm only joking. Well, make sure you stop it, because the TV licence is something you should not be paying, because you're paying for absolute propaganda.
I said earlier on in my speech, everyone back in April 2021 should have heard this man's story. This man lost a leg, proven by the government, proven by the doctors, but nobody heard it. Not one person. If we all knew about that story, if we all knew about this man losing a leg, we would have all thought twice about it. I want to introduce Alex Mitchell, everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much to Damien and all the freedom fighters that put this on. Thank you. As John said, my name's Alex Mitchell, and I am injured. I have a condition called VIP, induced thrombotic thrombocythemia. Excuse me, my leg's getting me jipped. And it's a condition that's fatal. I shouldn't be here. And I'm going to tell you something. The numbers for Scotland are frightening. When is anybody going to talk about these people? When is anybody going to talk about people like me? I shouldn't have to stand in the streets of Glasgow or anywhere else to try and raise awareness to get help and support from my own government. Now try to go for your children. Why are you giving your child this danger? I can't save you, I can't save my leg, I can't save my life. My life's wrecked. Yeah, I was the first living man to receive £120,000. Sounds a lot of money, doesn't it? I'm a scaffolder. That's not even 4 years' wages for me. And I'm expected just to sit and take that. I fought for 2 years. I'm fighting to get my health back. I'm fighting to get fit. I've just went through a second operation. I didn't have to go through. It was a very high risk, but that was my choice. Sorry, I'm shaking because my nerves are starting to go. Sorry, it's the calf muscle. Both my legs were pretty damaged. The calf muscle is absolutely wrecked, so I've only got one calf. I stand for 4 minutes, I'm in agony. The hey-ho. Woman in bras, me and my false leg, and my calf muscle is the same thing. People, thank you for joining. It's time for action. What are you going to do? I know what I'm doing. I'm standing up in street corners with one leg screaming my lungs out to try and help support and raise awareness. What are you going to do to stop this from happening to others? Thank you.
Yes, Alex!
Attention! This is an illegal gathering. This event is not permitted by the One World Government. You are in violation of Article 666 under the order of the United Nations 2030 Declaration and Forfeits Charter. Make sure you have your health pass.
Julie, I'm just going to document. It's Andy.
A man once said to never doubt that a small group of individuals can change the world, because in fact it's all that ever has. And Scotland, we are the fastest growing family on the planet. So as we come together today, once again, we must reflect on the last 3 years, and we must start to reflect upon ourselves. It's not that the world's gone mad, it's that the world has been further grasped by unelected organisations and hyper-wealthy elites, and they wish to install social credit systems, carbon footprint surveillance systems, programmable CBDCs, and universal basic income for compliant citizens. These last few years we have had to grit and bear. Our peers, our friends and our families succumb to mass formation. And as we move forward and we witness the birthing pains of the New World Order, we start to emulate a new life for ourselves. So I think it's time to breathe life back into the movement. A life where we offer truth in our politics and transparency in our medical care. Education in our classrooms, not indoctrinations in our schools. So let's give some consideration to these past few years and how paradoxical that somehow it's been society's most vulnerable that have been targeted, and it's those they installed the fear that we need to protect. From free taxis and ice cream incentives for children to take up the to locking away our elderly in care homes from the prying eyes of loving family members after they administered damning bedazzling protocols and blanket do not resuscitate. To our children's innocence being stolen by the entourage of woke ideologies and institutions installing the doubt that they can be born into the wrong bodies. From bank accounts now spying on our social media accounts, to all excess deaths and attacks to our personal freedom. It's high time we put people in positions of power for the people, not people in positions of power for themselves. All this, and society says that anybody that speaks up and questions a narrative should be labelled as a conspiracy theorist. The thing is, nobody is asking you to think like us. We are just asking you to think while you still can. And to the parents, as the state becomes more and more invasive, we must remember that we are authority, not the school, not the doctors, not the teachers, not the state. We are. So today, Scotland, we say to the WHO, we say to the WEF, and we say to the United Nations to get out of our fucking house. We the people value our freedom more than they want to suppress that. democracy. And I want you all to join me in 3 words. These 3 words are in fact the Christian art of tyranny. May these 3 words echo through the alleyways of Glasgow come Monday morning. These 3 words are the words I fear, ladies and gentlemen. These 3 words are we stand together. Come on now. We stand together. Louder. We stand together. We stand together. Louder with chest. We stand together. Never will they take our freedom. Come on. Together. Yes, louder. We stand together. We stand together. Let's get a march on. Let's march these conventions down. Let's do what we're going to do. Come on. Love you. Well done, Scotland. Well done, Glasgow. Give yourself a big round of applause. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for staying in the rain. We are the future. We will not let our children down. We will carry on fighting to the death. Love you. We stand together. We stand together. Come on, Glasgow. We stand together. We stand together. We stand together. We stand together. We stand together.
Attention! This is an illegal gathering. This event is not permitted by the One World Government. You are in violation of Article 666 under the order of the United Nations 2030 Declaration and Corporate Charter. Make sure you have your health passes ready to be scanned, as well as up-to-date microchips. Emperor Schwab has personally declared a public health emergency of international concern. Cases of the SPARS virus are on the rise. If you are not in your designated quarantine facility, you must have valid documentation or you will be detained and risk prosecution.
What's it? Yeah.
It freaks me out a bit.
Sue on camera duties.
Oh God, why have you got me doing this?
I'll take over in a minute if you want to, Rita, then you can. I'll just get this.